Let me ask you if you can even remember.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember this photo. I know who's in it, and for some unknown reason, this is Stanley Jackson. Do you remember I told you about him in an earlier video?
Right.
He used to have the party by the pool.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's him on stage with us, but I don't know where it is. It's not in his garden because the grass is too long and there's no swimming pool.
Was he an hunchback?
He was that day. Yeah, he was a tall guy. And, yeah, small band that day. Don't know why. Yeah, that's all those.
Yeah, that's the AllStars, yeah?
Yeah, it's the AllStars with Dr. James still singing.
Right.
So this in this video we're going to go through a few of the AllStars photographs that were taken at the Vandals Rugby Club on Desborough Island. Desborough Island's a small island in the Thames between Weybridge and Walton. And we played a lot of gigs there, a lot of free. We played there probably 5 years running for their summer.
Yeah.
Barbecue and get together and get drunk, party. And the first year they said they'd give us some money and we could drink all the drink we wanted to drink. Well, on the second year they decided it was cheaper to pay us a good amount of money. I think they said, Dave, your band drunk 1.5 barrels of Guinness. So
it was cheaper.
Yeah, it was cheaper to pay us than that, and still have the Guinness at the end of the day. But I did take a pretty big band with me then. So, looking at these photos, I'm looking at a photo of Dr. James and me. We're getting face painted. While we're playing, I'm trying to sing and some girl is painting my face. And in the same photo is Dr. Bob, and he's playing the drums for us. I first met Dr. Bob in the Royal George in Hersham. I mentioned that we used to rehearse in Hersham, and I lived in Hersham at the time. And the Royal George was a Young's brewery pub. Young's is an old family brewery in Wandsworth, in just South London. And they make very nice beer, to which I was quite partial. So I used to drink in the public bar where all the builders and that go in the Royal George. I believe it's still there.
A really rough place.
There wasn't fights, but it wasn't a very classy joint. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Anyway, someone in there told me that this guy Bob that drank on the saloon bar side, the other side, he was a drummer. And I was looking for a drummer to play. I don't know why John decided to leave, he must have decided to leave because I wouldn't have sacked him because he was a nice drummer and a nice guy.
Yeah.
But we changed bass players. I think him and Chris Leaney were very tight together, and they. Maybe it was just too many commitments with London Slim, and because they were both in London Slim and our band as well, weekends and stuff, and they wanted to be with London Slim. So I said I'd find some new players. And on the bass, I got a guy called Pete Bryant. Bryant, I think was his name. If that's wrong, I've got him written down somewhere. I'll put it right on the screen if it wasn't that. But Bob came and he drummed. So the horn section was on this gig was Alex Herman. Well, it was the Wolverhampton horns, so it was the same four guys. bass, me on guitar, James on guitar and vocals, and Dr. Bob, as he would be known,
And
playing the drums. He's playing with it face painted.
It's a nice visual thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the new bass player who replaced Chris Leaney, Pete. Really, really nice guy. Very quiet, quite intelligent for a bass player. So here we are. These are all on that gig. There's Bob before he got his face painted. That was a nice tight band. I'm sitting down for the first time.
So that was the beginning of it.
Yeah, that was the beginning of me sitting down. Yeah. Now there's this one is also got James and Bob.
Mm-hmm.
There's Bob on the drums with Midnight Dave Sumner and Pete Sargent. So I can't remember where some of these were. I mean, we were a busy band. I can't remember everything. Even though I've got the photos to help me, I can't really remember everything. I'm playing my 335 on some of these photos. Yeah, okay, so here was a guy who entered the band. His name was Don Rice, and he was a harmonica player. And he was a really, really nice player. After he replaced Dave Midnight Sumner,
mm-hmm.
I think Dave moved house, and I think the distance got too much, or
yeah.
I can't remember. There's a lot of things I can't remember due to alcohol and other substances. Oh yeah, so Don Rice came into the band, and he stayed for quite a while. But I think Dave Sumner might have come back after this. There was so much happening in my life at this time. I don't really remember in what order they came. Is me and James singing together.
Right.
Some sort of harmony thing. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. Okay, so there's Stanley Jackson again, standing a bit more upright, but he's outside the tent.
Yeah.
Right, so in this one, you can see a trombone player on the end there. His name was Johnny Lee. So this section, this is a brass section of this gig. It's only a 3-piece brass section. Trombone, Johnny Lee. Roy Adams. Oh no, it must be 4. Pete Martin must be there somewhere. Roy Adams on tenor. Martin Scarf. He played maybe 10 gigs with us over a bit more than that, over a month or two.
Mm.
Very nice guy, but more a jazzer than a soul blues thing. Right. I remember when we played the Epsom Playhouse, which was I suppose a 600-700 seater theatre. Martin Scarf, that was his first gig with us.
Mm.
And I think he was very nervous. Big stage and a lot of lights and a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Stanley Jackson organised us to play there. God bless him. He put all his money in. I think he made a loss. We didn't get paid, but we would have if it had been packed. But I think we only had was only about half full.
Right.
So I think he just about covered his costs.
Yeah.
But that was Martin Scarf's first gig, and I remember as we were leaving the stage after the encore thing, I heard Roy Adams say to him, don't worry, Martin, your first 1,000 gigs are the worst.
Yep.
But he was a lovely guy. And this Johnny Lee played with us many times. And he got very drunk one night after a gig. He was staying at my place, and Rhys Thomas was also there. And we watched a film. I can't remember the name of the film. And it was about a blood... it was like a horror film about a plague of illness spread through blood. And Johnny Lee, during the day, worked in a blood analysis clinic. And he wouldn't shut up about the fact that wasn't right and that wasn't right, and you couldn't do that and you couldn't do that. In the end, we turned the film off and we just joined him in drinking. So, yeah. Anyway, that's Johnny Lee and Martin Scarf, occasional members of the sax section, and better one there of Johnny.
Yeah.
He's was a New Zealander, and he's back in New Zealand now. So all these photos wrap up the sort of lineups we had when Dr. James was singing in the band.